Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Lesson 51, which is a review of the first 50 or so lessons. And so we're going to go back a little bit, and we're going to recap, and we're going to relive the basic principles and messages of the first part of the workbook. Because as you know, the first part of the workbook is an undoing. I often say that it's a suicide note. It's a suicide note to your ego. Nothing I see means anything. All of these ideas that are showing you that you have not seen until now, you have no idea what anything really is. You've made all of this up. So we're going to go back and we're going to sing, I think this is 5 of the first lessons, and we're going to treat this as more of a meditation. So I'm just going to invite you to sit back and relax and take this in. Here we go. Nothing I see means anything. I have given what I see all the meaning that it has for me. These thoughts do not mean anything. I do not understand anything I see. I am never upset for the reason I think. For the reason I think. For the reason I think. Nothing I see means anything. I have given what I see all the meaning it has for me. These thoughts do not mean anything. I do not understand anything I see. I am never upset for the reason I think. For the reason I think. For the reason I think. For nothing I see means anything. I have given what I see all the meaning that it has for me. That it has for me. So we return to the beginning, where it all started. I look around myself and I realize there's nothing that I could possibly see, this chair, this computer, this guitar, that has any meaning outside my decision. The thoughts that I have, the meaning that I've given it, or the meaning that we've shared. We join together to increase and to amplify the decisions we've already made. So we can join together and say, well, this is a piece of glass, and because we have a mutual decision around it, we think that that's what it is. But is that really what it is? I mean, we know that in our body there's an immense more empty space than there is solidity. There's nothing solid about any of this. It comes together really based upon our thoughts about what it is. It forms around our thoughts. Everything that we see forms around the decisions that we make. And so if we're going to see truly, if we're going to see through the eyes of Christ, we have to begin by realizing that I have formed and built this world as a hiding place. This is one of the very basic principles. I'm here to hide. Why? We talked about this before. Because I feel guilty. I feel guilty for something that never actually even happened, for something that never occurred. But still, I believe that it has. I'm committed to the idea that it has indeed occurred, and I'm going to protect what I think I am from what I believe to be the consequences of that. So I build myself a hiding place called the physical world, with a physical body, with billions and billions of other bodies that I believe to be outside myself, that I can then get into my own little corner, have my own little special relationships, and hide from that face-to-face, that moment when we come face-to-face with the divine. I don't remember if I've told this story yet or not, but I love this story. It's of my own daughter, who's 32 now, who will be here in a couple of weeks. But when she was about Christina's age, I'll never forget, it was around Christmas, and we hadn't taken her to see Santa Claus yet. And so there was a department store where I was a friend of the owner, and the guy who was supposed to come and play Santa Claus on that particular Saturday couldn't make it. So she asked me if I'd be willing to do it. And I'd always wanted to dress up like Santa Claus. So I said, sure, I'd love to. So I go in early and I dress up, and I called Linda and I said, why don't you bring Angela to Daddy Santa, and we'll have her picture taken, and it'll be really beautiful. You know, for the future, we'll look back and laugh about it. So that was the plan. And I'm sitting in this chair where I can see the front door. And I'm sitting there are kids around me, but I see Linda and Angela walk in. And when they did, I stood up, and in my loudest Santa Claus voice, I said, ho, 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 hello, Angela. And she flipped out. She completely freaked out, began screaming at the top of her lungs, and every time Linda would try and go even a little bit closer, she would scream all the louder. She would hide and just hold onto her leg and wasn't going to come anywhere near this character who knew her name, who had obviously been watching everything that she'd been doing, keeping a list, all of that. Because in that moment, she realized that all these things that, you know, she thought maybe, you know, she'd entertained in her fantasy, that they were real. Now, how many of us were raised with Santa Claus type images of God? The old man up in the sky with the long white beard, sitting on a throne, writing down my sins. I mean, how did we confuse Santa Claus with God? I'm not sure, but that I remember my parents giving me, you know, a children's book on heaven, and that's the image. There's God the Father sitting there on the throne. So anyway, Angela is screaming, and I had this idea. She couldn't see me coming, but I decided to go to her. So I walk over, and I get down on my knees, and then when she sees Santa Claus right there, then I thought she was really going to lose it. But what I did was I tried just to get her to look at me for an instant. Just to look at me for 3 seconds is all I needed. And when she finally did, I pulled down the beard, and I said, Angela, it's just Daddy. And it was like her little brain went, wait a minute, Daddy is Santa Claus. And she's thought that ever since, by the way, that I'm Santa Claus. But what happened, if you notice, it was that face-to-face where she had enough courage to look as opposed to being afraid. She had the courage to look, and then the beard came down, or the image came down, and she realized it's just Daddy. And there's nothing to be afraid of. Daddy loves me. And then she was fine. The reason I bring that up is because this is what these lessons are all about. They expose us in the manner in which we've tried to hide from that face-to-face. How we've built everything and made decisions about everything and joined together to say, okay, let's agree upon these things so we can use this as a place to hide so that we never have to endure that face-to-face where one of two things is going to happen. Either I'm going to be released or I'm going to be condemned. And because we're so afraid we're going to be condemned, we avoid it at all costs. And we tell ourselves the one thing we want is God. The one thing I want is union. And it's not true. We need to realize that it's not true. Because the closer you get, the more fear is going to come up. It's easy to say that when you're sitting back, right? But as you progress in your spiritual journey, you get closer and closer to that face-to-face, just like Angela to Santa Claus. That's when the fear increases to the point that you have that choice to make. And you either pop or you go back even deeper into the dream. So nothing I see means anything. I have given what I see all the meaning it has for me. I do not understand anything I see. These thoughts do not mean anything. I am never upset for the reason I think. That's a good one. Never upset for the reason I think. So does that all make sense? This idea of this being a hiding place? And I'm sure a lot of you have had that experience of coming closer and closer to that face-to-face with the divine and feel that fear. By the way, did you notice how the closer the relationship is, like whether it's a friend, a close friend, a romantic partner, a sibling, the closer you are to that person, the more stuff they bring up. The more fear they have the ability to trigger within you. Because the closer the relationship, the closer you're getting to really the only relationship there is, which is between you and God. And so someone that you barely know is not going to bring up much stuff. And if they do, you're just going to walk away. Someone who's a close friend, they may trigger more stuff. A romantic partner. Daphne, any of you people with, I'm sure you know this to be true. They know how to get us. The closer we get, our kids, our parents, the closer we get, the more they can trigger because they're mirroring that one true relationship and that true moment where all of our stuff comes up and we have the choice to either heal or to retreat. So today's the day. Santa Claus is going to pull his beard down and we're going to realize it's just Daddy. And there's nothing to be afraid of. Let's sing this song one more time, okay? Here we go. Nothing I see means anything. I have given what I see all the meaning it has for me. These thoughts do not mean anything. I do not understand anything I see. I am never upset for the reason I think. For the reason I think. For the reason I think. I see means anything. I have given what I see all the meaning that it has for me. The meaning it has for me.